Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. Welcome to another Snap Judgment Review. What is a Snap Judgment Review if you have never listened before? I think game designers nowadays game reviewers nowadays get a little caught up in the overall play experience of the game. They have to 100% it or get very close. I think they then forget what it was like to play it right in the beginning. So I take about 5 to 10 hours with the game, and I'm trying to give you an idea whether you're going to enjoy it right away or not. That, coupled with the fact that I think games are one of the most subjective forms of art, I won't be giving a score at this review. Instead, what this review will be an overview of what the game is from what I've seen so far, then the pros and the cons of the game in my point of view, as all reviews are opinion, and then I will be telling you whether I will be sticking with this game outside the purposes of this review. So, that all out of the way, let's get into this. I'm actually batch recording reviews for the first time, so I'm kind of excited to do this. I've actually had a chance to play quite a few games, so here we go. What am I reviewing right now? I'm reviewing Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. Okay, this is in my wheelhouse. If you've been on this channel for a long time, I'm a huge beat-em-up guy. I'm a huge beat-em-up fan. So this is well within my wheelhouse for games. It's one I've been excited for a while, but because of some lackluster reviews when it came out, I believe a year ago, I didn't rush out to purchase it. It was also $25, which, I mean, value is what value is. I just didn't have $25 at the time to put into a game that got slightly luke reviews, I guess. But went on sale, had a little extra cash, decided to pick it up, decided to purchase it, decided to play it. So what did I think of it? Well, first of all, what is it? Double Dragon Gaiden is 8-bit sprite-based, thank you. Whatever that abomination that they're making right now called Double Dragon Revive is, please bring it back to the sprite-based or the hand-drawn art style, because that looks awful. But it's 8-bit, it's sprite-based. It is a very different take on Double Dragon. It alleges that it's post-apocalyptic. You play Jimmy, Bimmy, or Marin and Martin to start. And then there are 4 main crime bosses that you have to take on. What's interesting about this, though, is it has roguelike mechanics, where once you take on a boss, or once you go through a section of a level, you gain some sort of ability, some sort of passive ability that makes your character more powerful, but of course, enemies get stronger. What's really interesting about this is you select which boss you go after first. When you go after them first, they're surprised, so you only have to go through one area to get to them, whereas the more bosses you beat, the bigger the other levels get, and the harder the bosses get at the end to fight, because they're insulating themselves against you. Meaning that the first level is almost an introduction level no matter who you choose, whereas the last level is this huge, battle beatdown. What I've noticed is every level has a potential of 3 sections, 3 relatively large sections, and then the boss himself also has a final 4th form. So first guy you go to is 1 section and his weakest form. Second guy you go to is 2 sections and their kind of weak form. Then third person you go to has full 3 sections and their kind of weak form. And then the final one is 3 full sections and some sort of specialized version of the boss to fight at the end. Which is really interesting, and it does lend itself to a little replayability. You're going to want to go through and kind of what's it like to fight this person fourth? What's it like to fight this person first? And kind of find your best route through, I guess. There's definitely a chance to get 2 different endings, but I'm not going to spoil them here because I did in 5 hours play through this entire game, which we'll get to kind of in the cons a little bit. But that's the game in a nutshell. As you finish games, you get all the money that you have left over. Money is what's used to both revive you, with your revives slowly going up, and also used to buy the upgrades in between each section of the levels. But at the same time, you have to risk reward it, because however much money you end the game with, is how many tokens you get to spend on extras, extra characters, extra levels for survival mode, art, music, stuff like that. And that's the game in a nutshell. Overall, every run is like that. There is a survival mode that they have added via DLC, a bunch of extra characters they added via DLC. You can also unlock all of the boss characters that you fight against, plus a couple of other special ones that you meet as like halfway level bosses, kind of like a Bobo, Lisa, stuff like that. And then there was 3 characters that they added via DLC for free. Their DLC that they added was free. The survival mode, all of that, free. So that's the game. That is the game. Let's go into pros. Let's go into the positive pros and cons. I like to go positive first. So right off the bat, music. I am not gonna lie. I booted this game up, and the Double Dragon music started right up, which was the and I'm going to tell you, I got chills. And I wasn't even a Double Dragon guy when I was a kid. I was much more a River City Ransom or Streets of Rage person. But yeah, this really excited me. The music is phenomenal through the entire game. I am tapping my toe to the jams, I guess, which would be to be expected. These games always have amazing soundtracks. Streets of Rage 4 had an amazing soundtrack. TMNT Shredder's Revenge has an amazing soundtrack. River City Girls has an amazing soundtrack. It's almost a requirement when you make a beat 'em up that you have to have an amazing soundtrack. And this one just, again, it's from classic Nintendo, classic awesome tunes that you hummed when you were a kid. They're just redone. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's a pro. The music is great in this game. Next thing I want to shout out as a pro is the combo mechanic. The combo mechanic is very different here than a lot of other games. With the other games, usually you're giving up health to kind of get your special off, or you're hitting some sort of weird button combination to kind of do your combos. I actually enjoyed this one of the most I've ever enjoyed. You have a special bar, it charges up. You have one combo that you can hit. You have a jump attack and a running attack. What's interesting, though, is you also have 3 different specials as any different character, all of them being different, each using a different amount of special meter, but once your special meter is used, you can't use specials anymore. However, there is this, like, timing essence of at any time before the absolute end of the animation of the special you're currently in, you can hit the special button again with some other different special and go into that special. Meaning like Jimmy has a soaring knee and then a roaring kick where his foot turns into a dragon that just makes him fly up. If you hit the soaring knee, and as long as you hit that rising dragon one before the soaring knee ends, he'll rise into the dragon one. It's stuff like that, which gives you these weird kind of like experimentation with the special stuff combos, which I really enjoyed. The only thing I'll say is it tends to make you not ever want to use your normal combo. You tend to kind of run around saving up that special bar to hit with those like 3 specials to bleed yourself dry. But with the powers, it creates awesome mechanics. There's a lot of powers that get you more specials, and there's also this kind of like, well, if I want to keep using my special, then I need to just use one. There's another mechanic in the game that I didn't mention in the overall, which I should have, called crowd control. For every character you take out simultaneously with a special, up 3 and above, you get what's called a crowd control. The screen kind of stops and it goes, "Great job!" and it gives you some food item to help heal yourself. These are kind of like intricate to surviving long runs. And like I said, it means you have to hit like 4 characters who are low on health with the right move to drop them all at the same time to then get the cheeseburger, the floor meat, drop down. So like the special stuff is really interesting because like if you have a special move that you've put extra stacks into to be like high damage, and you don't want to hit those special combos. You want to just hit 1, take out 3, drop the food, then hit 1, take out 3, drop the food, stuff like that. It's a very interesting mechanic, and I really, really enjoy it as far as how it seamlessly moves through things. My next one is character design. I think all the characters here were really cool and interesting, with the exception of one, which we'll talk about in the cons. I liked the really top heavy Abobo and Burnoff. I think it was it's just a fun game. As far as the 8-bit sprites, all the characters do something different. All the bad guys do something different. I like the character design in this. I also really like the moves. Like, they all feel different when you start doing those specials. And how you use those specials and change those specials together makes them feel very different in play. And then finally, the replayable levels is my final pro. I love the fact that depending on what order you go into these levels in, there is a different amount of levels and a different amount of things to discover and find. It does lend itself to some replayability there. I wish that there was more levels than 4, which we're going to get into in the cons, but yeah, I love the replayability of the levels and the fact that the sections keep getting added, and it's interesting to like go to each and see what the special boss looks like at the end and stuff like that. Finally, let's get into the cons. There's one. First, I'm going to get my nitpicky con out of the way. I hate Marin in this game. Look, in River City Girls 2, they took Marin, and they made her just the coolest fucking Amazon woman that ever is. She's my main in River City Girls 2. I'm not going to lie. Part of the reason I took so long to buy this was because the Marin in this game is a real dainty girl in a mini skirt. Basically, the same girl got kidnapped, except for the fact that she shoots guns. She's like a cop. She shoots guns, a bazooka, which who knows where she pulls that from, and stuff like that. And that's not my Marin. It's not my Marin, and Marin from River City Girls 2 is probably my favorite beat-em-up character ever that I've ever played. So, like, it just drove me nuts to see her in that game in that condition, I guess. So, nitpick out of the way, because that's just personal preference. The big problem with this game is the lack of depth and the lack of length. I know what you're thinking. You just described all this replayability. Yeah, but a run takes roughly about 3 to maybe 4 hours. You can save your points at certain points and come back to it. And then once it's done, you've got 4 runs in you, and that's it. I have played this game for, I think I'm up to 12 hours right now, and I have 17 out of 20 of the achievements available in this game. I'm that close to 100%ing it. That is one of the biggest problems I have with it. It's like I felt a fatigue. As soon as I got the last special boss done, I felt a fatigue with it. There's no extra endings to find other than just the 2 that are very obvious. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but it's very obvious. There is a choice, and you go, oh, one of these leads to B ending, one of these leads to A ending. There's no extra endings or special places to find. Not a lot of them, anyway. Most of the special little rooms in the levels, and there are some, are very obvious, and you can see them coming. There's no, like, procedural generation or anything like that. There's nothing to, like, keep you coming back after you've done that. And that was a little annoying. I mean, even, like... and yes, I know it has a survival mode. But the survival mode doesn't make your characters better at all. It's just more of this roguelite stuff that gives you more tokens for the token shop. And honestly, you can earn way more just running a story. I think that, like, one of my biggest problems is, like, you look at even Streets of Rage 4, which is a very linear, narrative-based beat-em-up. It is, it has, like, all your characters, they level up, and they gain new abilities as they level up that allow you to mess with their move sets. There's nothing like that in this game. Once you have a character, you have everything they can do. And then other than that, it's just this random kind of smattering of abilities that just kind of holds it back. Honestly, if this had more levels, like their DLC was the wrong thing. They already had tons of characters in this game. They didn't need 3 new characters. The survival mode was good because that added a little bit more to do, but they need more levels. They need more of those levels to, like, end the game on, or to, like, see where they go, sort of thing. I would have liked that more than the more characters. And again, you look at River City Girls, I've played that for 20 hours. I'm not even halfway through the achievements. Like, there's tons of stuff still to unlock in that game. I think that, like, Streets of Rage 4, I've played that. Oh man, I'm getting up to the 100-hour mark at Streets of Rage 4, which is a lot for a beat 'em up. And I would say that I'm not done with all the achievements. I'm not even close. My biggest issue here, and the survival mode so far is very rudimentary in my opinion. There is kind of an interesting element that they put in with tagging between two characters that I like, but like overall, like there is a lack of overall replayability to this that I can't quite explain. So whether or not I'm going to stick with it outside the purposes of the review, it's a weird kind of answer because no. I mean, I'll probably go back to it a couple of times, but again, I'm basically done with the game. I've done everything I can do before I even... I had beaten the game more than once before I even hit my 6-hour mark for my review. So, like, I think that you're looking at something that, like, there's just not enough in it. So if they add some more stuff, I'll probably come back, and I might jump back into it a couple times because I very rarely 100% games, and I'm so close with that I kind of feel like I have to at this point. But no, I'm not really going to stick with it because I'm kind of done with it. And that's okay for the most part, but I just wish there was more to this one. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Let me know in the comments below. You guys can reach us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on X at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Link is in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. And as long as you guys keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. Also, final con, there's platforming in this game. Get the platforming out of my beat 'em ups. Alright, talk to you guys later.